Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to the new potato processing plant or potato factory that is part of the premium expansion. So here we are on Zelanka. I'm going to go over how to use this factory and we're going to talk about is it actually worth using this factory. So we're going to cover all of our bases there. First thing we need to do, it is located, I guess I should show you, on the map. It's located right down here. So that's where it's going to be located on all of Zelanka here. You also can place your own down if you go under factories, under productions here, and then you can place it wherever you'd like to for, well, not wherever you'd like to, wherever you own the land for $120,000. But we're going to purchase this one, which again, it's $120,000. We're going to buy that. Now we own it right here, good to go. So a couple things about it. Everything actually happening is on this side. So this is where you would sell stuff to it if you didn't own it, and it's also where you're going to put your inputs in if you do own it, which we do now, and this is where your pallets are going to spawn. So there's quite a bit of stuff around it. There's a lot of going on, but in terms of the rest of this is just all kind of decorative. So everything that needs to happen is over on that side of the building, but we'll do a quick walk around just so you guys can see kind of how it looks. It's quite a large building, to be honest. Nice little alleyway there. Goes around here. And it continues to go around and around and around until we get back over to right over here. So here we are. But let's go ahead and hop in and take a look at the production menu here. So again, you can access it by going up to the wrench or going into your menu. So if I hit R there, it has them all activated right now. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate all of them right now. But basically, we have 3 ways to make potato chips. So if you don't know how productions work, I'll do a quick overview of that. So basically on the left-hand side, you have all of your recipes. If I activate it, it's going to start working on that recipe until it says materials missing, which means it doesn't have them. And that's just how it's going to go from there. Or if their output's full or something like that, it might say inactive. So we're going to deactivate that again. And then again, you can scroll down to see the different recipes. So the top one is 100 liters of potatoes plus 5 liters sunflower oil to get 30 liters potato chips. This one is 100 liters potatoes plus 5 liters canola oil to get 30 liters potato chips. And then this one is 100 liters potatoes plus 4 liters of olive oil to get 30 liters of potato chips. So those are what you have going on. Now up here at the top, again, it says inactive there. Cycles per month. So it's going to do this recipe 480 times per month. Now, if you have your game set to 1-day months, that's going to happen every day, 480 times. If it's set to 2-day months, it'll happen 240 times a day or 480 times per month still. Or if you have your days set to 28 days per month, this will happen every 28 days, 480 times, if that makes sense. Now, production cost per month, every month it's going to bill you $120. So again, same concept of how months work. Every month it's going to bill you $120 if you have this running. Now, in general, most production chains, if you have all 3 of these running, it's going to divide your cycles for each one of them divided by 3 because it's got a kind of split output. So it's working on doing all of them at the same time versus if you just have one of them running. Now, on the right-hand side, we have our inputs. So we have potatoes, sunflower oil, canola oil, and olive oil. So it shows you how many liters we have of those in the storage. And down here at the bottom, we have our outgoing products. So currently it's set to storing. So what that means is as soon as there's enough in here to make a full pallet, it's going to spawn that pallet in this checkered zone here if you have it set to storing. And it'll keep doing that until this eventually fills up and there's no more room for pallets. Now, if you change that to selling, it's going to automatically sell the products in here for about a 40% deficit to the highest sell point. So it's going to just sell them automatically for you, but you're not going to make a lot of money. If you have it set to distributing, if there is another factory that would take potato chips, which there currently is not, but if there was later, this would move them automatically to that factory. Now, if there's nowhere for them to go, if you have it set to distributing, it won't spawn any pallets and it'll just fill this capacity up. So not a big deal there. Now, how do we get stuff into here? Again, I said you put it in here. So we're going to put everything in here. So we have some canola oil. So if I put that over there, it's going to get that canola oil in there. I also have some olive oil, which is great. It's going to put that in there as well. I also have some sunflower oil, which is going to go in there now as well. I'll put the rest of those in there off camera here in a second, but if I hop in here, I've got a truck full of potatoes, so I can pull the potato truck right over top of that. And then I should be able to just dump them into the production facility. So as soon as I get the icon to unload, I can now unload all of these potatoes in there and get them in there. Now, if I go into the production menu, you can see we have 1,000 liters, basically 1,000 liters of each of the oils in here now that I put those in there. And our potatoes is slowly going up as I put more in here. So that's how you get the inputs in. Easy peasy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate all of these, and they're going to start running. So I want to make some potato chips using all of the different types in here. Now, they're all going to be the same output, so we'll just wait until we get that going for us. And that's kind of the nice thing about it all being one output, so you're still going to get as many potato chips as possible, no matter how many of what you have going on is going on. So no matter how many of those recipes are running, you're still basically getting the same output of potato chips as long as they have enough products in there. So what we're going to do now, let's put a couple more pallets in. I decided to keep you guys in here. I'm just going to put another pallet each of the oils in. And that should be plenty of oil to get us a couple pallets of potato chips here. If you do walk up to the factory, you can see here down in the bottom right-hand corner, it shows you kind of what's in there. So we can see all this stuff in there right now. And potato chips are getting manufactured. So it should be set to, let's set that to storing. So we're going to go ahead and just fast forward some time here. Just a little bit. You can see, oh, we're already about to have a pallet spawn here in a second, I believe. Because I believe it's 1,000-liter pallets. Maybe not. Might be more than that. We'll keep going here. Yeah, that might actually be decent-sized pallets if I haven't had a pallet spawn yet. Still going up. It might spawn after maybe 2,000 liters. We'll see here. 2,000 liters. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to slow time back down. We have a 2,000-liter pallet of potatoes, which I have super strength on. I don't think you can lift. You actually might be able to lift these. They shouldn't be too heavy. Have we turned that off? Nope, you can't lift them. They're just over. 250, I think, is the limit, actually. So I think if it's under that. But yeah, so you can't lift them. Now, if you do have liftable pallets mod installed, I know Yas is working on a update to that to be able to lift all the premium stuff. So that should be coming soon. But for now, I just have super strength on, which helps me lift it. So 2,000-liter pallets is actually kind of nice because that's a lot of potato chips packed into there. Now, the next question you guys are going to have is it actually worth it to do this? Should you put your potatoes in here? Should you put your oil in here? Is it worth making oil to do this? Well, if you don't remember from me doing some test videos on all the base game productions, you actually lose money on, I believe it's the sunflower oil. Let me double check that just to make sure I'm saying the right things here. Yes, so sunflower oil per cycle, you actually lose 10 or a penny per cycle. So it's not even worth it. And that's not including the production cost per month and the cost to buy the oil factory. Now, you do make a little bit of money on canola oil, but you only make 26 cents a cycle. So after you include the cost of the factory and the production cost, you're really not making anything. Olive oil, however, you do make a lot of money off of olive oil. You make $2.15. So I'm going to analyze that as well all the way back to the oil factories to see if it's actually worth it to make oil in the first place to then put into this factory. You're going to be better off selling your sunflowers instead of your, instead of putting it through the sunflower factory to get, or the oil factory to get oil and then to get potato chips later. So I'm going to do some testing on that, do some math on that, and I'll bring you guys back in when I got some things figured out. All right, so I did some math to see if it is worth it. It does appear to be worth it no matter what you're doing with this factory, which is really good. So I'm going to put a chart up on your screen. So you see a couple things on here. The top chart is the basic input-output chart, and the bottom was the advanced input-output. And I did include the production cost per month. I didn't include the production building itself because that's a one-time purchase, but the production cost will always be there. So the basic input-output, the way I calculated that one, is I took, instead of putting in canola oil, so let's say you have canola oil already and you have potatoes already, instead of putting them into this factory, you sold them separately. That's what the input value is, if you sold them ingredients separately instead of putting them in this factory. So if we're just considering the oil and the potatoes and not the canola, the sunflower, and the olives before they become oil, that's the basic input-output chart here. So you can see that we make the most money with canola oil, and then we make the least money with olive oil, compared to selling the product separately, but we still make a decent amount per cycle. This is per cycle, I should say as well, per cycle. So if you have these things maxed out, you'll make that times 480 every month if you have all the ingredients that are needed inside the factory. So this is all per cycle. Now, if we move down to the advanced input and output chart, this is going all the way back. So this is the same process. So this is looking at, so for example, the canola oil one for that recipe, that is looking if we sold the canola and we sold the potatoes instead of ever putting the canola into a canola oil factory and putting them into the potato factory. So it goes back an extra step down to just the raw ingredients. So if you sold the canola and you sold the potatoes separately without putting them into, well, get the canola into canola oil and the potatoes into this potato processing plant and then the canola oil into the potato processing plant, that's how much you'd make if you sold the ingredients. The output is the same because we're still getting the same amount of potato chips here. For all of these recipes. That's why the output's the same there. And then we have the profit. So going all the way back, if you take the olives, you make them into olive oil, and then you make them into potato chips, that is how much you're making per cycle of potato chips overall profit. So yeah, you're actually doing pretty good on the olive oil. And then the sunflower oil is still not great, but you can make money off of the sunflower oil now if you do this. So sunflower oil itself, you should never sell because you should never make it. It's just not worth it. And quite honestly, canola oil is very similar. You're not going to make a lot of money just doing canola oil. You should always put it into this potato processing plant or another factory that makes you more money. So that's just kind of a quick quick way to look at that, but hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. And again, this is all part of the premium edition or premium expansion. You can purchase those down below in the description if you'd like to, using that link down there that goes to support the channel. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.